They're not sentences, they're noun phrases, they're passive noun phrases, and they all have the same structure, and we're introducing learners to language at this stage. The aim for us is to really get our learners internalizing this structure and the vocabulary that accompanies it in the meantime. So anyway, I lied. I said you were going to see 11 pictures, and I completely lied. Because what you're going to see is not 11 pictures, but you're going to get 11 pieces of paper. Each one of those pieces of paper has one of those noun phrases on it. So at this stage, I give these out to my students. Maybe we all sit around in a circle. I give these out, they have a look at them, and they get to check their answers. They get to see if they're right or not. And they're always confused because I told them they were going to see some pictures, and at this stage they're thinking, where are these pictures, Jamie? And I say, haha. So here we've got a suspect being interrogated and a criminal being arrested. The Mona Lisa being stolen. So you see what's happening here. They're being given their answers. They're becoming more familiar with the language. They're seeing it a second time. And then what we do is I tell them that I want them to provide the pictures on the reverse sides of those pieces of paper. So we've got the text side and we've got the blank side. Now the way that we do this is everybody comes around in a circle. This was a small group that you see working in Norwich in a couple of hours away from London. They're in a horseshoe around these little pieces of paper. Now they've familiarised themselves with the language on the paper, as we've just done. They've got quite a strong idea of the meaning of the language because they've been thinking about it. They've been trying to match them up. Now they've got to bring it to life. Now they've got to draw the pictures. Everybody has to go and choose one piece of paper. They have complete choice over what they want to draw. They go and they draw. When they finish the drawing, they give it to me, and they choose another piece of paper. They take it back to their desk, and they keep going with the drawing process. And that happens until all of the pieces of paper have been turned into flashcards, picture flashcards. And then I am presented from my great students with a handful of beautiful DIY flashcards with great pictures and great language. So for example, here is a criminal being arrested. Here we've got a woman being barred from her favourite pub. Say, oh.
Poor Tanya.
Here we've got a customer being shortchanged.
That never happens. What are you talking about?
Oh, so here we've got Pinocchio being swallowed by a whale. This is a bank robber being chased by the police. This is an interesting one. This is a criminal being released on bail. And you can see how much fun these are, can't you?
They're excellent
Would you
drawings.
release? They are. I mean, you'll be amazed by the artwork you get out of your students. I mean, you have these quiet students that maybe not got involved in certain activities they've done. You ask them to draw, and some of them will just come out of their shells. You know, we're always told as teachers, and it always makes sense to vary our activities. So drawing is just another possibility, another means, another thing we can do in the classroom with our students, isn't it?
I like how the criminal in jail has a whole bunch of weapons.
Would you either put them in jail like that or release them with those weapons?
Well, with lots of money, I guess.
It's great. This is a very good picture. This is a suspect being interrogated by the police. You see the nice and nasty routine going on. It's great. And here's the woman being struck by lightning. It was a golfer originally, but I think at one time it was a woman being struck by lightning. Somebody decided, or maybe she's a golfer, but actually wasn't playing golf for that day. You can't challenge that. Now if you look at this one, you'll see that the writing is just coming through on the other side. And that's very important because I wrote in a black pen, and that's what you should not do. I learned this the hard way. Write with a pencil. Write the text with a light pencil. And that way when the flashcards are reversed, you can't see the text coming through. And then you use these for all sorts of games. Anything you use flashcards for, standard flashcards for, you can use these for. And you can laminate them, you can photocopy them for your students, you can scan them and display in big projectors in the classroom. That's a really, really lovely way to project them and to recap and revise and revisit language. The next day, imagine you draw a picture in class, and the next day you turn up and you're looking at it. Wow, right across the screen. You can say some students might not like that. They generally don't mind it, and I'm speaking only from my experience, of course. Students generally take to this type of activity quite well, and again, in my experience. And let me just show you a few other examples of flashcards we've had. Here are some examples that I've taken randomly for a course book. This was second conditional, or conditionals of some sort. This, I believe, was he wouldn't have walked into the wall if he'd been looking where he was going. This is, I could have won the gold medal if I hadn't been injured. This is, I wouldn't be feeling sick if I hadn't eaten too much chocolate. So I think that's third condition, isn't it? I always get confused. Here, so that this is just to demonstrate that you can take dead, dull examples from course books and once again really bring life to them. Get a whole series of flashcards to revise and all that to the structures that you're studying in class. Similarly, just the secret to this, one of the secrets to this is to be able to think of grammatical systems to use in the first place. So I gave you some examples of passive noun phrases, didn't I? You know, the Pinocchio being swallowed by a whale. Here's another example. This is waiting for something to happen. So we could have been waiting for the rain to stop, waiting for the band to come on stage, waiting for the phone to ring, waiting for a girl like you to come into my life. This is waiting for the referee to blow the final whistle. And you get your students making these little pictures like this, and sometimes you have a look at these pictures and you really look at the pictures and you look at your students and think, what is going on in their minds? I'd love to know.
Yeah, what's the blue guy doing?
I don't know.
He's holding up
I don't know, isn't he? But I love it. Isn't it fantastic? Well, the idea of a referee standing in a chair with such a big whistle, I just love it. And the student that drew this is such a great guy as well. He's a madrileño, and it's just so creative, and it is art, isn't it? And that's what it is. We're all artists. Here is an activity where students were asked to draw their favourite YouTube clips and then present them to the class. I don't know if you know this one. Mummy Panda gets a fright when Baby Panda sneezes. Here is revising a game we did called the Have You Ever game, where everybody asks, have you ever questions, and you have to lie, and then everybody has to work out if you've been lying or not. This was a drawing activity to revise the questions. Have you ever done a runner from a restaurant? Have you ever caught a fish with your bare hands? Look at the artistic elements again here. Do you see Picasso, the Picasso influence? Here's have you ever milked a cow? What else have we got? Here's flashcards to capture prepositions. This is into. I call this the preposition of physical conversion. Not that I want to just jargon or anything like that. But this is, yes, very catchy, the preposition of physical conversion. You kiss the frog, it turns into a handsome prince. And I think nobody would disagree that this prince is anything but absolutely stunningly handsome. I like the onomatopoeia, flop. Here's a lovely, excellent example of two phrasal verbs being caught in a picture. You would never work it out, but the important thing is the student that drew this knows exactly what it is, and it is two people making up after falling out. And that's quite nice, isn't it?